Fellow Mountaineers, you made it to another edition of the Trust the Beard podcast. Today we are going to kind of break down Robert Morris. Not really, just going to be a short game prediction for you guys, a score prediction. But I have some numbers to throw out there for Rich Rodriguez and his debut game with a new program as the head coach in his entire tenure. Now, I'm only going back to West Virginia. I tried to look it up and do a little bit of research real quick, but I couldn't find the Glenville or Salem days, so those are excluded from this. So we'll strictly do this from West Virginia to Michigan to Arizona and then Jacksonville State. So in those four stops, Rodriguez home opener, the first year he was a coach at those programs, so he has a 3-1 record. So at WVU in 2001, we opened the season at home against Ohio, which was a win, 20-3. Now, the initial game that we started that season was on the road at Boston College, and we did lose 34-10. I remember that very vividly. I believe we blocked a punt, or maybe I think we blocked a punt, something like that. Returned it close to the goal line. We scored instantly within like the first couple minutes of the game, something like that. And I remember me and my buddies just jumping up and down, being like, oh, man, this is the Rich Rodriguez era. We're on fire now. And then we scored 3 points the rest of the game and pretty much got throttled by Boston College. But I digress. This is just home openers, right? I'm not including anyone on the road. And that's actually the only road game that Rodriguez has opened the season with as a head coach. And so we have the first win right against Ohio at WVU in 2001, 20-3. In 2008 at Michigan, he lost to Utah 23-25. And then at Arizona in 2012, he won against Toledo 24-17. And then 10 years later, he won at Jacksonville State in 2022 against Stephen F. Austin 42-17. So what does all that mean? I don't know. Probably not much, because those games were a long time ago and college football has changed so much. But I did crunch some numbers. So overall, the win-loss, the score was 109-62. That's how many points Rodriguez scored against his opponent, 109-62. You break that down from 4 games, the average is 27.25 for Rodriguez and 15.5 for his opponents. So, that kind of plays in our favor. I think the interesting part about this, in all those times that he opened as a head coach, only once did he play an FCS team, and that was 2022 against Jacksonville State, or at Jacksonville State against Stephen F. Austin. And if you remember, in 2022, they were an FCS team, so they were kind of on par with him. So as a coach of a Power 4 program, they didn't really have Power 4 back then, but you can look at him now as a Power 4 program. He's never opened with an FCS team before. As we go back, it was Boston College on the road, and then we got Ohio at home, the next game in WVU, right? Utah at Michigan, and Toledo at Arizona, or just Arizona. So this is technically the easiest game he's ever opened up with as a head coach. And so for that reason, I think we're going to blow them out big time. I think it's not going to be a question. I think they have, this is new, right? There's a lot of turnover, almost 80 players turning over from last season, all that stuff. But in the NIL period, in this era where you can handpick your players, right? You're not, I don't want to say stuck, but you don't have to inherit, or you don't inherit whatever the coach left behind. And as we have seen with Neil Brown, he didn't leave behind a whole lot. There were some pieces, I think, but a lot of them transferred out because they could. Now, had the rules been changed and it was like the old college football world where you can't transfer, I think Rodriguez would have a lot more to work with. I know that's not popular because Neil Brown didn't do a whole lot, but you think about Josiah Trotter, who transferred. That's potentially an NFL talent at linebacker that we would have had back. Tomas Rimac, right? We knew what he could do. Like, he was a very talented lineman under Neil Brown. And say what you want about Neil Brown, but he did develop some really great linemen. And, Tomas Remack would have probably been the centerpiece of that line returning. But now he's transferred, and it's Landon Livingston, a guy who has limited snaps. I'm trying to think of a couple other guys who left. Can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know they're there. I've looked at it before. There are some pieces that Neil Brown left over that are pretty good, but with the transfer portal, a lot of what would have been on the roster have left. So anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that. But in this era, you can now handpick your players, right? You're not stuck with what the coach left you, right? You don't have to try to fit a square peg in a round hole, so to speak. You can go out and get guys who are more rounded to fit in that round hole, right? It's not going to be a perfect fit right away, but hopefully if their underlying values are there that you look for in your player for your system, it's easier for them to transition to it than it is to try to squeeze a guy in there who you didn't recruit, who wasn't prepared for this. And so with that said, I think we're going to blow the doors off of Robert Morris. I was getting ready to say before, Robert Morris is not a good team. I looked at their schedule last year. They had like a 7-5 record, but you got to think that's at the FCS level. I think they averaged about 27 points per game last season. They have a huge turnover rate as well, so they have a lot of new players. And so you can't expect that exact same result. But even so, that's not 27 points per game is not great, especially in today's college football where offenses are so wide open and can score at will, and you got the mobile quarterback, which thanks to Rodriguez, we have that now, right? He's the one that fathered this system. And so with that said, I'm going to give a final prediction, I think. I'm going to give Robert Morris, I'm going to be a little bit generous here because I'm not sure what to expect. I'm going to give them 14. I think that's generous. Realistically, it's probably going to be more like 10, maybe hopefully like 7. We'll have to see. But I'm going to give them 14, and I'm going to give West Virginia 42. So there you have it, my final prediction for tomorrow's game. We kick off the Rich Rodriguez era 2.0. The Radical Son has returned. The godfather of the spread offense. He is back in the gold and blue where he belongs. Should have never left, but that's okay. We all make mistakes in life. And here we are kicking off the 2025 season against Robert Morris. And actually, another fun fact I just realized is that all the years that... Oh, never mind. Forget I just said that. It doesn't make any sense. I just looked at my notes and realized what I was about to say was wrong. I was going to say Rodriguez has started a new program on an even year. So this would be the first time he started on an odd year, which is not true. He started WVU in 2001. So anyway, scratch that from your memory. I never said anything about it. But with that said, final prediction again, West Virginia 42, Robert Morris 14. It's going to be a glorious day in Morgantown. Very much looking forward to it. If you're coming up to the game, drive safe. If you're going to partake in some Morgantown waters, be responsible, drink some real water along with it. Everyone have a great time. Get loud. Wear your gold. Goodbye. God bless. Go Ears.